Welcome to the data visualization box plot video. In this video, you'll learn how to make a box plot. There are 3 steps for making these visualizations. Number 1, you got to get your files, and you got to make copies of the .py and .xls file that you want to use. I'll show you how to do that. Number 2, you're going to edit the Excel sheet by doing these 3 steps, and lastly, you're going to edit the Python code. So let's go ahead and start with step 1, getting your files. You're going to need to go to drive.google.com, and yesterday we made an 8th grade math folder, and you'll see your zipped data visualization files. Go ahead and 2-finger click on it and then click download. It will download either right in your browser here, or it'll download in your downloads window. Either way, what you're going to want to do is unzip that zip file by just clicking on it, and it'll unzip it for you. And you'll see that it showed up here in Finder. In your Finder, it may show a different view like this. That's fine. You just need to click back so that you can see the full view. So here's my folder, Data Viz, and I've got in there the main Excel file along with these other files here. Well, what I had said is that you need to make copies of your .py and .xls files. So since we're making a box plot, what we're going to do is we're going to make a copy of this. So we're going to 2-finger click on this one. We're going to duplicate it, and we're going to rename that your last name underscore box plot. And I want to get rid of the word copy. So it should say your last name underscore boxplot.py. You may be wondering, well, why didn't we just change this one? Well, if we make a mistake in this one, we can, again, just go back and duplicate that. So I've got this, and then it said also make a copy of the .xls file. Okay, so what I'm going to do is 2-finger click on my data visualization options. I will duplicate it. And this time what I'll do is rename it as well. And this time I'll rename it to last name underscore boxplot. So I've got 2 files that are named the same thing. It's just that one is the Python file and one is the Excel file. All right, done with step 1. Step 2, it says edit the Excel sheet. Get the data that you need on a new sheet. So let's go to the Excel sheet that I made. I'll go ahead and double click on it. And I'm going to create a new sheet for myself, and this is where I'm going to put all my data in. So it created a new sheet for me here. Doesn't matter where it is. I'll go ahead and 2-finger click on that and rename it. And at this point, you could name it whichever you want. I will just call it BoxPlot data. Okay, and I'll hit enter. All right, going back to our slides, it says, get the data you need on the new sheet. All right, I can't tell you what data you'll need on this sheet. It depends on what data story you're trying to tell. All I can tell you is that your data should look something like the handout. And what I mean is, in the handout, you see the box plot sample. So if you wanted to make 2 box plots like this, well, then your data needs to look something like this, where in cell A1 this year it corresponds right here, and then you've got some values which then Python made the box plot for. If you made the second box plot, you would have a second column in B1. That data would be down here, and then again you've got data here. So I can't tell you ultimately what your data will look like here. All I can say is that it should match up in the sense that there's data in columns with A1 or B1 being the heading for what you want to see appear at the bottom. So for mine, I'm just going to quickly find some data. You're not going to copy what I'm doing. I'm just making my own visualization. So I'll go ahead and get some data here. I want to make 2 years of data. Doesn't matter what I have here. So this part I'm just going to go quickly through because again, you're finding your own data. I will use my transposing skill by copying, two-finger click, paste special, and transpose. Paste special and transpose. Again, this is my data. It's a story I'm telling for mine. Just make sure that your data looks like that in column format where A1 and B1 represent the box plot information that you want to show. So now what does it say to do? It says delete all the other sheets. So just like we did in our algebra problems here, where we would delete unnecessary sheets, if you remember that, deleting unnecessary sheets after we were done, that's the same thing that we're going to do over here. So I'm going to get rid of every other sheet by two-finger clicking on it and deleting it. And again, if I click on a sheet and I hold the shift button and click on another sheet and click on another sheet, again, the shift button is held the whole time. I can two-finger click and delete all of those sheets. Okay, so now I've got one sheet with the data that I want for my box plot. Go ahead and click Save to save it. All right, and now let's move to step 3. Edit the Python code. So how are you going to open up this Python code? Well, you can see that it's right here, but you don't want to double click on it because that'll open it up in, actually, this worked just fine. What I was going to say is you're going to want to try to get to this a different way. So what you'll want to do is to make sure that everything opens up the right way, you'll click Command Spacebar, and you'll click, type in the word terminal, hit enter. And when you've got this right here, you've got this cursor right here, and what you're going to type in is idle3. So IDLE3, oops, IDLE3, and then hit enter. And this is going to open up Python. And this is where we actually get to working in Python. It's called the development environment. So what I'll do is I'll click File, Open, and now I just need to look for my, my file. So I go to Downloads, I find my file, and I open my BoxPlot Python file. So this is the Python file that you're going to be working with. Anything in red is just information for you. And so you're going to want to follow those directions. So it says your job, click File, save as last name, BoxPlot. We already did that. And then it says make sure you've changed the file name before you do any work below. Good, we've done that. And so this section right here is just some what are called libraries that are already being used so you can make your visualization. You don't have to do anything there. Anytime you see your job, you need to do something. So right now it says change the file name. This needs to be the same file name as the Excel file because this is saying read the information from the Excel file. So my Excel file was called amin_boxplot.xls. So I'll go ahead and delete this and I'll put amin_boxplot, and I want to make sure that it was lowercase. Yep, it was lowercase. All right, this part is done. This line gives you your measures of central tendency, so that's the code right there, so I don't have to do anything. These lines allow you to label your graph. Okay, so it says your job. Change the y-axis label and the title of your box plot. So if I want a y-axis label, remember that's the label that's going up and down. So because mine was the number of books, so I'll go ahead and put number of books. And now under plt.title, I want to put the title of my box plot. So I'll call it minority representation in literature for different years. And you're going to name yours whatever yours is called. Okay? These lines create the box plot and show the graph. Good, I'm done. All I have to do now is do a file save. And here's how I run my code in Python. I'll go up here to where it says run, and I'll go ahead and click run module. And then it will spit out a box plot for me based on that information. So it'll take a little bit, but you've got now a graph that's created. Minority representation in literature for different years, 2018, 2015, the number of books with minorities in it. I can go ahead and screenshot that. I've also got over here my measures of central tendency. I can screenshot that and insert it into whatever document I'm going to use to send this to Miss Shore. And I am done. You've just created your box plot.